Bob Weir, Grateful Dead founding member and guitar icon, dies at 78. Bob Weir, the guitarist, singer, and creative force who co-founded the legendary rock band The Grateful Dead and helped shape decades of American music, has died at the age of 78. His family announced his passing on January 10, 2026, in a statement shared on his official website and social media. According to the message, "We're transitioned peacefully, surrounded by loved ones, after having recently overcome cancer, but ultimately succumbing to underlying lung issues." For more than 60 years, Weir's music, personality, and adventurous spirit endear him to millions of fans around the world. Known affectionately as Bobby by his followers, he was much more than a rock guitarist. He was a storyteller, a community builder, and a defining voice of the counterculture era and beyond. Early life and the birth of the Grateful Dead. Bob Weir was born Robert Hallparber in San Francisco and was later adopted and raised by Frederick and Eleanor Weir. He became involved in music as a teenager, and in 1964, at around 17 years old, he began performing with Jerry Garcia in a folk music group called Mother McGree's Uptown Jug Band. The following year, in May 1965, Weir and Garcia joined forces with bassist Phil Lesh, keyboardist Ron "Pigpen" McKernan, and drummer Bill Kreutzmann to form what would become one of the most influential bands in rock history. Originally named the Warlocks, they soon changed the name to the Grateful Dead, a band that would go on to define psychedelic rock and the culture of live touring and fandom known as the Deadhead phenomenon. Weir's youthful energy and inventive rhythm guitar style helped balance Jerry Garcia's lead playing and gave the band a distinctive, dynamic sound. The Grateful Dead soon became known for their genre-defying blend of rock, blues, folk, jazz, and improvisational jams, building an extraordinary live reputation that often eclipsed their studio recordings. Music, legacy, and influence. Over the course of 3 decades, Weir's contributions to the Grateful Dead extended far beyond his guitar playing. He co-wrote and sang lead on many classic songs that became cornerstones of the band's catalog, including fan favorites such as Sugar Magnolia, One More Saturday Night, Mexicali Blues, and Truckin'. The Grateful Dead's approach to touring, embracing long, exploratory live performances and fostering a dedicated, nomadic fan base, created a cultural movement unlike any other. Their fans, known as Deadheads, followed the band across the country for years, sharing music, community, and the freedom of the open road. This communal ethos influenced not only later jam bands, but also how fans engage with live music across genres. Although the band never focused on mainstream chart success, their cultural impact was immense. They were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1994 and received a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. They also hold records for the number of concerts performed and maintain a presence in popular culture generations after their heyday. Life after Jerry Garcia and continued musical exploration. In 1995, the Grateful Dead's era came to a close with the death of Jerry Garcia. Weir, then in his late 40s, faced the challenge of preserving the band's legacy while forging new musical paths. He embarked on a series of projects that kept the spirit of the Dead alive for fans around the world. Weir played with multiple ensembles including Rat Dog, Kingfish, Bobby and the Midnights, Further, and the Other Ones. In 2015, he co-founded Dead and Company with surviving Dead members and guitarist John Mayer, bridging old and new generations of Deadheads. Under that banner, the music lived on in large tours and festival appearances until the group's activities began to wind down. He also formed Bobby Weir and Wolf Brothers in 2018, a more acoustic-oriented ensemble that offered fresh interpretations of classic material and showcased Weir's depth as a musician and interpreter. Despite health challenges in recent years, Weir continued performing as recently as 2025, including tours and residency performances that celebrated more than 6 decades of music. Health, final months, and passing. Bob Weir's health struggles became public in July 2025 when he was diagnosed with cancer. He underwent treatment, and according to his family, he beat the disease, a testament to his resilience and determination. However, he later faced complications related to his lungs and ultimately passed away due to underlying lung issues, as shared in his family's statement. His death marked the end of an era for the Grateful Dead community. With Weir's passing, Bill Kreutzmann remains the only surviving original member of the classic lineup, following the earlier deaths of bassist Phil Lesh in 2024 and others from the band's early years. A legacy that spans generations. Bob Weir's music connected deeply with listeners across age groups, regions, and cultures. His rhythmic approach to guitar, mixing blues, folk, and improvisational styles, set him apart in the world of rock. More than his technical skills, it was his warm, inviting presence and his role in building a community of fans that made him unique in American music. In interviews, Weir reflected on his life and art with a mixture of humor, humility, and philosophical insight. Speaking about mortality and music in 2025, he suggested that facing the end of life was, in his view, another part of the journey, a perspective shaped by decades of touring and introspection. Survived by family and forever remembered. Weir is survived by his wife, Natasha Muenter, and their children. His family asked for privacy as they grieve, but also expressed gratitude for the outpouring of support from fans worldwide. Musicians, fans, and fellow artists have taken to social media and public tribute platforms to honor his life and influence, calling him a guiding force whose